Hey folks, welcome to Unprecedented, how affiliate groups can move forward despite the devastating effects of coronavirus. My name is Steve Curtright, joined by Simone Keller. We're both fully vaxxed, which is why we are following CDC guidelines and able to do this presentation in relative close quarters. We certainly do wish we were able to meet with y'all in person for this conference, but understand that this is hopefully the last time we're doing a virtual conference, and we're hoping for next year to get back in person. Today we just want to kind of chat about providing an overview of the current status of COVID, whether it's nationally, statewide, or locally. So we have affiliate groups all over the country and even 2 overseas, and how the vaccine status is going, and then talk a little bit about coming back to in-person events. One thing to note, we're smart, but we're not doctors. So please follow the experts. We're just here to provide some insight on what clubs and affinity councils should be thinking moving forward.
Again, as Steve mentioned, I am Simone Keller, and I am the Director of Alumni Affinity Engagement. And I'm really excited to be with you all today virtually and kind of talk about what we can do to get back to some type of normalcy. So first, we're going to start by talking about our COVID-19 status in South Carolina. So we do know, as Steve mentioned, that we have Gamecocks all across the globe and 2 internationally. We want to focus on South Carolina for like a quick second. So this report was last updated on Tuesday, May 18th, and it just kind of gives you a brief overview of the COVID-19 status, how cases are still developing within the state, and also the total number of cases according to the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Services. And we're just here to kind of talk briefly about COVID and just to kind of show you what the effects of COVID has had on the Alumni Association and on our affiliate groups, not only in South Carolina, but worldwide. So now we're going to look at the COVID-19 status nationwide. So we use the CDC COVID-19 tracker. And as you can see, some states are still pretty high on the COVID scale, and also some have seen some decrease in the COVID-19 numbers. And so we just want to encourage you that wherever you are, as Steve mentioned, please make sure you pay attention to national, state, and local laws regarding COVID-19 and how we can make this year an even better year than what we've had previously before. And you can feel free to click on the link or just copy it down there, and then it gives you up-to-date status on COVID-19 and ways that you can kind of get involved. So with the vaccine update in South Carolina, it shows you how many South Carolinians have actually received either the Pfizer vaccine, the Moderna, or the Johnson & Johnson. And also it kind of shows you nationwide in the US, how many individuals have actually taken that next step and at least gotten 1 dose of the COVID vaccine. Again, as Steve mentioned, we are not doctors. We just want to provide just a little update about COVID. If you haven't seen updates nationwide or nationally or locally, we just want to share those COVID updates with you all. And so here's some information that we wanted to share about what we are still learning about COVID-19. So we're still learning how well the vaccine actually prevents the spread of the coronavirus. So as we're getting ready to go back either to work, homeschool, or play, we definitely want to encourage all of our clubs and affiliate groups to get out there and start having more events. And so we do want to make sure that you all are aware of the vaccine and that it is something that if you choose to do for the sake of you and your family, please do so. We're also still learning that how the COVID-19 vaccine actually protects people. And so we're always constantly doing our research because we want to make sure that all of our constituents are safe. And so as we're doing that, we're constantly updating and looking on the CDC website as well. We're also learning how many people have been vaccinated against COVID-19 and how it actually protects the population. and the effectiveness of the vaccine and the different variants and the different strains of the virus. So as we mentioned before, please look on the CDC website as often as possible, and also try to follow state, national, and local laws that are in your particular areas so that we can kind of slow down and stop the spread of coronavirus, but also get back to serving our constituents that are in our areas.
Right on. Thank you so much for the update on where things currently stand. We're glad to see that things are getting better. But to take y'all back to when this pandemic started, higher education, the impact that COVID-19 had, and as it impacted our clubs and affinity councils as well. We had a plan for a doomsday scenario potentially. A lot of institutions had to prepare for that, but thankfully we were able to not have to face that difficult scenarios. Now, some of our community college colleagues might have had a little bit more rough go, but we here at the University of South Carolina were able to cut expenses. There's hiring freezes, halt construction projects. That was pretty common throughout higher education with a lot of institutions. But also, thanks to federal relief, CARES Act, the American Rescue Plan Act, we were able to not just stay afloat, but really still have a strong year, believe it or not. One thing folks were worried about was enrollment. Enrollment stayed strong at many of our peer institutions, but here, especially at the University of South Carolina, we were able to keep students on campus all year, thanks to this groundbreaking saliva test that we had that, folks were able to have a fast turnaround to know their status of COVID. There was a mask mandate on campus, and distancing was also enforced on campus. So we were lucky to have our great students. They were adhering to the policies in place. Everyone took it seriously for the most part, and we did not have to shut down like many of our peer institutions had to do. Which was always hard to see, but we're definitely glad and thankful that we had a pretty strong year, and we're looking forward to having an even better fall, especially if numbers keep going down and vaccinations keep going up. The Alumni Association, for our part, we did stop in-person events. We moved mostly to online. Now, some groups in the fall we did work out a guideline where some groups could meet in person, and some had some very successful football events because they're able to partner with their community venue and host game viewings, which we're thrilled to see. So that was good to see that groups are able to follow their mandates, went ahead with those game viewings, and continue those engagement efforts and do so safely, which was great. But we do know that a lot of our clubs and affiliate and affinity councils, they went all in on going virtual, and they really showed how creative they are. We started with the trivia event, and you can just see here how things kind of just really kept going. Black Alumni Sip and See. Columbia had an event about the importance of loving yourself that was so well attended, the Columbia Gamecocks. It was great to see. And I think it showed that, folks are really taking mental health seriously during all this, which is fantastic. We had a slew of concert series. Charlotte had a concert series. Atlanta and Nashville collaborated on a concert series. So that was fun to watch. Not everything was held on Zoom. Some of these were held on Facebook Live. We had another concert series held on YouTube with the School of Music. So we love to see those collaborative events come together. Sips and Tips was something that came from the Charleston Gamecocks. We had a few events like that. DC had something similar as well, where experts came in, and it kind of spurred our Ask the Expert series that has been so popular throughout COVID as well. VAC came through with very important educational events as well. Forgotten Heroes. We did some advocacy events to kind of examine, what from the university's perspective are we looking at. And you're going to see the scope here. It goes on and on. We had so many cool events, and just really show the flexibility of our affiliate groups and the leadership that y'all had. You had the opportunity to keep alumni engaged, and you did it. And we're so thankful for that, whether it be a mixology class, Black Leadership series, cooking classes, virtual happy hours. It was great to see, and we're so thrilled that our alumni were able to stay engaged and stay connected even during these hard times. And I think that's important. For what happened here at your home away from home at the Prestige Alumni Center, we had to take some precautions as well. And we are an event-centric building. So, we took this very seriously. Tables had spacing. Staff, we had to wear masks when we came back in the office. Even if you're just in for a little bit, we were very serious about that. Masks for guests as well. We had touchless check-in for Eventbrite, so we utilize that QR code. And these are some things that we're definitely going to continue doing because we found that not only are they safe, but they also help us run events efficiently, which has been fantastic. And then hand sanitizing stations, which I know we're still using those, and we're really happy about that too. Sanitize them hands. But as we've kind of transitioned back into full time with our staff being vaccinated, and we're looking now at in-person events, it's given us pause to think about what are some things we could do differently as we come back. And I think that's something that we really want to stress to our affiliate groups today. Our leaders, have done such a great job of, whether you're an affinity council leader or a club leader, have really done fantastic of continuing to represent your organization and engaging your alumni. But as we go back to in-person, ask yourself, what's next? Are you going only in person? Can you do more online events? Keep in mind, both are available to you, and you have your staff liaison here to help facilitate both, whatever you decide to do. For groups that are going back to in-person, ask yourself some questions. Is now the best time to create something new, a new initiative, or program or event? Have you been wanting to do community service for the longest time, but y'all just haven't been able to pull the trigger yet on that? Or do you want to try something new with maybe a different affiliate group in your town? For example, let's say if you're in Kansas City and you have a Clemson club and a South Carolina club, can you do a competition, or maybe it's a canned food drive with a happy hour? I know our Charleston group did that a couple years back and is really well received. So now is the time. If you're looking to try something new, be bold, be brave, go check it out and see, because we kind of have a blank canvas to work with and paint your own picture there, which is great. Also ask yourself, what are things that are not working that maybe it's time to cut? Are you having poor attendance at game views because your venue might be hard to get to? Have you had low attendance at a certain series event? Or folks, are they just not too excited about doing something? And if an event feels more like a chore, or a program feels more like a chore to do, I would consider looking at alternatives there. Evaluate your successful programs as well. What can be done better? Are there things that need to be updated? Do we need to find new merchandise? Do we need to look at different ways of advertising or promoting the event? Things to definitely ask yourself there. Now is a good time as well, if you have a leadership team, to engage them, use their ideas and get that collective buy-in from everyone, and then build a plan. I think building a plan as we come back is going to be so important for everyone to stick to. You have your scheduled events that you want to do, but also consider, do you keep some events online? If you're a market that might be hard for alumni to get to back and forth, like maybe, if you have a large spread out town, and you might have alumni on the other side of town, or maybe you're the only club in an area, or affinity council representation in an area, consider it online. That way you can really expand your scope. You can do some nationwide programs. I would love to see some groups continue to do a cooking class or something like that, and make that available to all Gamecocks. But something to really consider. And we're not pushing anyone to go in person. If your club or affinity group feels comfortable with online and not quite ready to go back, maybe your town's in red still with the COVID alert, that's totally okay, and we're here to support that as well. So use Simone or I to set those events up. We're happy to continue to host on Zoom for as long as y'all are comfortable and want to keep doing that. But yeah, use us as well. We're here to brainstorm these ideas. We've seen the creativity that you all have put together in some of these ideas, and some of them have been so fantastic. We counted just today, there were over 50 events between our affiliate groups. And you saw the range that they came from there. They're just fantastic, and alumni love to see it. So let's keep the engagement going. And we know y'all are creative, whether it be in person or on online events. So keep those creative juices going, and let's move forward to a strong year. But as you do that, we just want to say, stay alert, have a plan in place, but pay attention to your national, local, and state mandates. If there's another wave of COVID coming through or anything like that, you want to be mindful of that. Stay alert to what your constituents want as well. Do alumni in your area feel very strongly about in-person events, or they feel very strongly about maybe not being comfortable with it? Let us know. We are happy to put together a survey. We can send it out to alumni in your area, or that align with your affiliate group, and say, tell us your comfort level of doing events in person. I think people have been pretty honest with that, and we want to hear them out as well. So stay alert to that. Obviously, keep a pulse on what your folks want to do. If you can get vaccinated, if you feel comfortable doing so, we would suggest, vaccinations. They're safe and effective from what we've seen. If not, then I would definitely encourage mask wearing still as well. Just make sure that you're staying aware on what is out there currently with the COVID situation, and making sure that you're keeping yourself safe, but also alumni in your area. And I always suggest work with venues if you're doing in-person events to ensure that all mandates are being followed and that safety is priority number one. Also, of course, this should go out saying, stay home if you're sick. Don't go out just in case. Just stay home. Make sure that you're good to go there. We can't thank you all enough. Our contact information is here at the bottom. We're super excited to get back to some sense of normalcy starting this summer. We've already had a couple of events in person. They've been really well received. We've loved seeing that. But we're so thrilled about the future, coming back to some in-person events and spreading Gamecock cheer.
Have a great one. Thank you guys for being here today.
Thanks, everyone. Go Cox. We are still recording.